All these children being taken, whipped, sold to pick cotton. They took her clothes off. You don't get to have nice things. You don't get to have shoes. You are a slave. That's what they did to our people. Read that again. Y'all talking about that last night? What was you going into?
About how there's some children out here who don't get to have nice clothes.
Right.
Stuff like that. Back then, you weren't able to wear clothes.
That was none of us. None of us. You might have been walking around naked. Because you're a slave. You don't get, you're one of God's chosen people. You're an Israelite. You're in captivity now. My sister, let me ask you a question right quick. Here at the orange vehicle. The Bible, right? Are you aware that the Bible is the history book of the black and Hispanic man and woman? You're not? It doesn't seem like it might be, right? Because when we were given it, or we were reintroduced to it, we may have been introduced to it under an image that looked like this, something like this, right? Or we may have been, you may have seen us be tied up this way and forced to bow down to a wooden cross or an image, something like what these people are depicted to be, right? Now, in the scriptures, we're gonna find out actually that our history is the Bible. The Bible is the family photo album of the black and Hispanic man. First and foremost, give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 33. Because I'm going to show you these things that we're going to read about the Bible. They pertain to us, but they do not pertain to all people, right? Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 33.
31.
31. Thine ox shall be slain. You want verse 32, thy sons? 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes.
Thy ox shall be slain. Now, I want you to think about when we had our own land, right? Blacks and Hispanics, right? West coast of Africa, one area. Over here, the Americas, another, right? Read that again.
Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes.
Are you aware of what the so-called white man did to our animals when he attacked our lands that we were in possession of before slavery? He killed the animals, right? He didn't want us to have them. Such as what the buffalo happened to the buffalo in the 1800s, right? That pile of skulls, that picture you might have seen in history class when they killed them all, right? Read that again.
Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes.
Now, who is this talking to if it says you're the one that's gonna have the animal who's killed? Us. That means that the person is not talking about, they're gonna be the ones doing the killing of our animals, right? So that narrows it down a little bit. I'm showing you that this here is our people, right? 32.
Verse 32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Whose sons and daughters were taken from them forcibly and shipped off to another race of people. Ours, right? That means that what? This scripture is identifying and separating and differentiating our people from everyone else, right? My sisters over here, these sisters over here, you know them? Sis. Let me ask you a question, right? When our people had our sons and daughters taken from them in captivity, what was that called? What's that called? When ours, what's your race so-called? What's your race? You're black, right? So at some point in history, our children were taken from us forcibly, right? You got children? You don't have any children. What about her? Huh? No, I asked if she got kids. You don't have kids, but y'all are somebody's kids, right? So, right, read that again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people. So that means what? Our people, we are the sons and daughters of, we have sons and daughters ourselves. At some point in history, there was a time when our enemies forcibly took our children, put yokes of iron upon their neck, chains and shackles on their feet and wrists, and did what? What else happened?
And thine eyes shall look and fell with longing for them all the day long.
And we longed to get them back all the day long, from day in and day out. If you had children, which you do, and they were forcibly taken, right, from a group of people that wanted to put you in captivity as well, and did and succeeded to, you would be frustrated from the moment you woke up. You probably wouldn't be able to sleep, would you? This is the condition that our people faced for hundreds of years straight. But this is something written in the Bible as a prophecy 3,000 years ago when it was written by our people to tell us now in the future that this book was a true book. We didn't believe it then, right? But guess what? It happened exactly as it was written to happen. Read.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
Did our people have military might or economic might or even educational might to get our people out of those conditions, to retrieve our children back, to send ourselves back to our families that we were taken from? We didn't, did we? Right? Give me 33.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land.
Now let's talk about our other brothers too, because look at this. Come look at this, sister. This is a sign, right, that depicts the original names of the 12 tribes of Israel: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Zebulun, right? So on and so forth. But on the right side of it, it gives the post-captivity names, more or less, of the people that are actually biblically these names, right? Judah is written in the Bible, but colored person is not. What is a colored person? What is an African American? Elon Musk is an African American. He was born in Africa, he moved to America. But how can you have a nationality that's hyphenated that way? It doesn't denote a specific lineage, does it? Because what? Our people were taken, sent away from each other, families split up, shackles and chains for hundreds of years straight. And we're also going to read about some of what happened to our lands, right? Read.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
It didn't say a nation that we are almost the same as or familiar to. It said another nation that came from somewhere else, nationality of people, would come and do what?
And all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
They would eat it up. We would plant it, they would reap from it. We would sow it, they would gather in the funds that were in the millions and billions, by the way, because we had to pick hundreds of pounds of cotton per day. A piece of cotton don't weigh nothing at all, right? You see 12 Years a Slave, Roots, different movies like this where they were forced to do these menial labors. We were forced to do these menial labors. The Israelites were forced to do these menial labors, and still as we are today, right? Read that again.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
Now, sister, why did this happen to us? Oh, you got a young man there as well. Why did this happen to us? Why did this happen to us, though? Is it just because God wanted to? He just want to punish us this way? Why? What's the reason? What's the purpose for it? Yes, because this what we're reading about. Is this not an accurate description of the transatlantic slave trade? Let's get a more descriptive example. 68. My sister's over here. Let me read you something to this. You need to know that this is in the Bible, right? Because did you know this was in the Bible before? You didn't. Read the verse 68. These sisters gonna miss it. But watch this. You not.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Egypt. You seen the movie The Prince of Egypt? They had the decency of not making us all the way white in that movie. We look pretty light-skinned in that movie. And we're really, in reality, historically, looking as dark as the Egyptians, which were also an African nation, an ancient African nation. Today's day and age, Arabs under Kareem Abdul Nasser, right? Abdul Nasser, he is the one who enacted the takeover of the modern day Egypt, which has Arabs in it. It doesn't have ancient African, very 7-foot tall, Watusi looking Africans like they would have been here in the old kingdoms of the Hamitic nations. Now in today's day and age, since the 1800s, you have Saudi Arabians that live in Africa, in the northeastern part, such as Egypt, practicing Islam. Back here, we were slaves to the African Egyptians. You understand? Read that again.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Into Egypt again. Now, in the movie Prince of Egypt, which is somewhat kind of historically accurate, almost, the Jews, which is us, the Israelites, what were we when we were in Egypt? In years. But what did Moses tell the Pharaoh to do? in regards to God's people. To let them go, right? Because that's what Moses was sent to do. He had to get the Israelites out of slavery from the Egyptians. Now, let's read that what Egypt means, right? Egypt, it says we would be sent into Egypt again. How? Right? What does Egypt mean, first and foremost? Let's find out.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
God brought us, not everybody, us out of the land of Egypt. The land of Egypt is what?
Out of the house of bondage.
Egypt means what?
Out of the house of bondage.
What does it mean when you're a bond woman or a bond man and you are in bonds? You are shackled, you are a slave, right? You are in captivity. Read that again.
I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
The land of Egypt, comma, Egypt means what?
Out of the house of bondage.
Now go back to where we were at. Slavery is synonymous with Egypt, not the land mass itself. Historically, actually, yeah, because when we were there, we were literally slaves. But the word itself is synonymous or to be likened unto the slavery that we were in when we were there. So in 68, in Deuteronomy, it says that we'll be sent back into that Egypt. To be sent back into that slavery. Read that again.
20 and 20. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68.
We'll be sent back into that slavery.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Into slavery again.
With ships.
With ships. Is this not historically accurate? This book is the same book that your pastor has in his pulpit. Has he ever read you this? And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? You're 25, okay? I'm older than you, right? Listen, this book, as you've been going to church your whole life, has been sitting all over the earth, literally the most purchased book ever in existence. You've been going to church somewhat. Maybe you didn't go I didn't go all the time, but church is not where they teaching this, is it? You have the prophets come out on the highways and hedges right next to the road in the morning to come out here to stop you in your tracks and read this to you. Why? Because now is the high time that God's people wake up. This here is written in all the Bibles. But guess what? Our people are kept from knowing it. You're kept from knowing it because they don't want you to know that you're an Israelite. They don't want you to know that this Bible is about you. They don't want you to know that this is the history book of your people. And then it prophesies things that are literally true, that literally happened. Read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
You would go into slavery again the same way with ships instead this time. You would not walk. You would be placed on cargo ships, shackled and chained, and be sent into bonds, slavery. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
You would not see that place where you had been taken from ever again. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And when you get off of the slave ship, you would what?
Be sold unto your enemies.
Did this not happen to our people? Is this a fake book? Is this a poem? Is this a poem or is this a prophecy? Is this a young man, come look at this. Do you know about when this happened to us? Look at this. Look at this, sis. Look, come. I want to show you something. Now look, you holding her, right? You holding her, right? Look, there you are right there. That's you. Give me Joel 3. This is you. Look, there you are. You got the little baby. Look, there you are. You about to have to sell that baby, right? Not you, because you're not getting the money. This so-called white man is selling them. You know about slavery, young man? You don't know that our people used to be slaves getting whipped on their back? Will Smith just had a movie about this man. This is a photograph. Emancipation, the movie. Y'all should watch that movie, right? He is whipped on his back. This is a photograph. Will Smith played this man named Peter, right? Picking cotton, a whole bale full. Joel 3. Deuteronomy? Give me Deuteronomy 32. Chapter 28, verse 32. Then we're going to go to Joel. All right? He's showing y'all this. Look at this. This would have been placed around your head. These would have been placed around these big metal shackles. like you see somebody get arrested. That was all of our people for hundreds of years straight. Look at this man. That was you. They whipped you. They made you pick cotton. You seen them picking cotton in the field in the slavery movies. That was us. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 32.
Because they might not teach you this in school. They don't want you to know about your history. Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters.
This is your mom, right? Huh? Look, you are the sons of this woman, right? You are the daughter of this woman, right? Look, read that again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
The so-called white man took our people, their sons and their daughters, like you and you. We would separate you here. We're going to send you to Mississippi. We're going to send you to Alabama. You have to stay here. You're going to pick cotton for the rest of your life. You're going to pick cotton for the rest of your life. And you're going to pick cotton for the rest of your life. That's what the so-called white man did to us, right? Look at him. You ever been to a car auction or a car show or something like that? You ever seen an auction or what they have been to? What they've been to? That sell a marketplace, perhaps? A farmer's market somewhere, a flea market? You were what being sold at the flea market. You were what was shackled in chains, sitting on the floor. Look at this, look at this, look at this family. Come look at this, sis. Look, all these children being taken, whipped, sold to pick cotton. They took her clothes off. You don't get to have nice things. You don't get to have shoes. You are a slave. That's what they did to our people. Read that again. Y'all talking about that last night? What was you going into?
About how there's some children out here don't get to have nice clothes.
Right.
Stuff like that. Back then, you weren't able to wear clothes.
That was none of us. None of us. You might have been walking around naked. Because you're a slave. You don't get, you're one of God's chosen people. You're an Israelite. You're in captivity now. Right? Read that again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. And
sent into slavery and given to different families. Keep in mind, when you were in slavery, you didn't get to stay with your mama. They would take you and sell you somewhere else. Take you and sell you somewhere else. Read.
And thine eyes shall look and fare with longing for them all the day long. And thine eyes shall look.
Now look at her. She's looking at her daughter. This might be the last time she would ever see her in her life. They don't know, they didn't tell you where you were getting sent to, and it's not like you would ever be free to go get to see them, would you? If you wanted to go see your mama, you would have to run through the forest and the woods with dogs chasing you. You might not ever make it, right? Read that again, the eyes.
And thine eyes shall look and fare with longing for them all the day long.
And look, you would be looking, look, you see how scared she looks in her face? She knows she's gonna be looking at these men and saying, maybe I'll pay $400 for him. Look at him, he has a whip in his hand. Maybe I'll pay $500 for her, but he'll pay $600. He gonna buy you. He's gonna pay $600 to him, your old slave master. He's gonna be your new slave master. You're gonna get locked into a cage and sent to a different state forever. That was the history of our people. That's what happened to our people, the blacks and Hispanics, for hundreds of years straight. Why? Because we're the Israelites, and it was prophesied as our captivity.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.